genuine person will be asking, rather than Widow said that let the state's presence be felt on a substantive sense on the ground. Let the violence be controlled by them.
Yes.
And this is the first two I've said, making sure that the government becomes one voice, because it is under the same party. Modi is a very powerful man. And two, do whatever you have to do to ensure that the government structures, institutions are rescued. These are two things for way ahead. I'm suggesting very clearly, until and unless you do that, all talks of peaceful talk here and there is nonsense. And three, let me complete. The government of India must come out very clearly that in this country, which is multicultural, multi-religious, multi-linguistic, no political demand based on communal, sectarian ideology, identity politics can be satisfied, because it will open up a Pandora's box. So they should firmly say, we are all for revamping administration for better administration, for better distribution of wealth and power to the people. So decentralization and all of them is okay, but no, we will never entertain a communally rooted project of an exclusivist identity of my community.
Your suggestion is, if there is a separatist tendency, if there is a separatist sort of movement, that has to be crushed with an iron hand. You are advocating a top-down approach.
I think you have missed it. I've said three things.
No, I heard that. But primarily you are saying a top-down approach, right? Somebody at the center has to take responsibility.
Let me complete. I have only four things to say. I've said three. First, Prime Minister must ensure that the government, his troops, speaks in the same language. Do whatever you have to do. Third, making sure that your bureaucracy, the armed forces, the police, works like an state institutions. Do whatever you have to do it. Temporary measures you wanted to take it, not in terms of cracking down. If you think that injecting officers from outside in the police force, reorganize them, and then supplemented by central police organizations, and ensuring that the police is being sort of rescued as an institution, and the armies remove those units who have been there for a long time and you have complained. Whether it is right or wrong is not an issue. That deficit must be addressed by the armed forces and then rescue. And third, I said, is that the government must politically announce that we are not going to entertain any communally rooted political demand. No identity, exclusivist politics structure. Because remember that even the State Reorganization Committee had said very clearly, administrative structure banana ho, then it should be an administrative rational. It cannot be based on communal identities. Fourth, along with this is not one after another. The fourth step is try to involve certain kind of civil society level dialogue. Let's start. And some of the major issues about, say, we said, illegal immigrations, you have to put drugs. These two particularly must be addressed without demonizing communities. These two issues, I'm repeating it, without demonizing communities, must be addressed. There are serious issues about illegal immigration that has been raised for a long, long time. And that must be done. People are playing games with NRC. Is the Prime Minister ready for NRC? He has said on the floor, remember that video recording where he says, no, we are not going to do. In fact, I'm saying to you for the first time, I raised a question in the Lok Sabha, which is called short notice question. But for it to be answered, it must be approved or allowed by the Speaker and the concerned minister. It was not allowed. I've asked whether the government of India is willing and planning to implement NRC in the state of Manipur. That question was disallowed. I've been raising, if the government of India, the Prime Minister itself is not very sure on NRC, and there are so many opinions on NRC, but I have been saying, call it by any other name, whether you are reluctant on NRC's name, whether including the Prime Minister Modi, which the state leaders are saying that, is Congress ready? Is Congress ready? Even the Prime Minister is not ready. After listening to this, anybody who have heard Prime Minister saying about NRC, please play it out, so that these people who are playing games in back homes can understand. And I have raised this issue in Parliament, which was disallowed.
Right. You have
Now, I
explained,
think that's what I
yeah.
think I've just stated last one. These issues, two issues,
Hmm.
drug is a serious issue.
Yeah.
But because so many dimensions and people are implicated, you will have a tough time. Blaming communities is not going to solve the problem. I said without demonizing communities, one must handle this issue, two issues. These are the
Yes.
four issues that we need to deal with it. Civil
Address.
society organization must be raised. Peace talk can be initiated. Not even negotiation. At least dialogue should start. So these are the four layers. So let me conclude. Prime Minister ensuring his government speaks in one voice. Make sure that state institutions are recovered, especially police and the armed forces. And third, you can deal with this. Clearly, government of India says that no demand on communal basis because India cannot afford. Fourth, you initiate a civil society dialogue. Along with that, fifth, I said, if you add these two issues, it must be objectively addressed without demonizing communities. These five are the way ahead, and I hope I have said these three, four things
Yes.
before. I have said repeatedly.
You
I
have
have said it
explained,
last
yes,
June.
you've
I'm
explained the
repeating it.
dimensions, I think, very, very comprehensively. And I'm sure my viewers would have benefited from this because it's a multi layered issue. It cannot be looked at from one single perspective, like you have given us an understanding of the drug trafficking issue, of the weapons issue, and of the migrants issue as well, where the union government has tremendous amount of responsibility to handle it in that sensitive manner. And I take that sentence from you as a big takeaway, without demonizing communities, because that is only going to aggravate. That is not going to
Absolutely.
help anyone.